Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station AM 1220 KHTS.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
This is Jean, Dr.
This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our first guest this morning is Arif Halaby of Total Financial Solutions.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am great, thanks.
Long time no see. You missed the last program.
I did. I think I was traveling.
Yes.
Occasionally we have conferences that kind of blend with the time, and not my favorite thing to do because I'm away from home, but I have to do it.
Are you kidding? I love to travel.
You know, I love to travel, but as long as I have family or friends with me, it's fun. But conferences, you know, you kind of go there and you sit and you do your
It's a little bit boring.
Yeah. It's always learning. It's always good to learn stuff, of course. But hey, listen, we are, for some reason, there seems to be a spike, and maybe you've heard this amongst your friends or other folks, but there seems to be a spike in certain scams that we are getting. In fact, my own mother and father on 2 separate occasions received this call in the last 3 weeks.
I received it yesterday.
Did you really?
Yes,
and we didn't even talk about this, so I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Which one did you receive?
It was the one about the Internal Revenue Service.
That's it.
There's fraud involved.
That's right. And
it
was
it was a 207 area code.
Okay. I don't know where that's from.
I don't either, but I never answer. And it was a message left on my machine.
Of course.
You know?
Well, I'll tell you, we are getting, I think it's probably because of tax season, of course.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's on people's mind.
Yes.
But the IRS scam is one of the largest scams, and it scares the daylights out of people. And they'll go on and say, you know, you owe money, and right now, if you don't bring it in, we'll have an issue with you, or we'll arrest this. And in one particular case, we had a client whose daughter is a professional, and of course, who used to live there, but you know, now 20 years ago, she moved out and has a family, and said, we have this as the last phone number for so-and-so, and if we don't hear information, we're going to go to your daughter's business, we're going to arrest her, we're going to, and you know, so Yikes. She's scared, so she's, oh my gosh, okay, where do I have to bring the money? What is this all about? And it wasn't until, you know, she's afraid, she's thinking, oh, I didn't know my daughter was having financial problems, and of course, the daughter isn't, she's doing very well, but the mom doesn't always know, you know, so gets scared. Made one phone call just to double check before she dropped the check off or the payment off at Western Union. And they said, well, hold on, why didn't you just call her? No, I don't want to disturb her, she's at work. They called her and she's like, no. And then, of course, when she phoned, everything was fine. So the IRS scam we are getting is an enormous hit, and if you're a senior, most seniors have been pretty good law-abiding folks. You know, there are certainly the outliers, but guys, if you're a senior, you're not into doing things on the edge or funny business. You generally are a rule follower in that generation.
That's right.
Usually, though, Arif, if for all the scamming that might be out there, aren't they usually trying to get payment through a illogical system, a system that is not like you write a check from your bank account or you even give a credit card number? It's through a different, through a check writing agency, it's through Western Union, something like that. And right away, that should be a red flag.
It's always a red flag when they ask for, number one, the IRS doesn't accept credit cards over the phone. You'll always receive letters. You can fill it out and send it in, but you do not receive credit card requests or Western Union. And I think I have mentioned on the show before, but it's worth repeating. We have had clients come to us, very educated, very upper middle class income earners, and you would think somebody who would never fall for these kinds of things. Folks, it gets everybody, regardless of your net worth, your income, your education status, your race, ethnicity, male, female, it doesn't matter. And what they'll do is they kind of scare you, and they're very good at listening. So you say one thing, and they run that down a line. And a good example. Hi, Grandma. This is your grandson. Jimmy? Yes, Jimmy. Well, I'm stuck in jail in Mexico. Or I got in trouble. Can you send me some money? And they'll cry a little bit, and you'll go, Jimmy, where's your daddy? Where's Bob? And you go, Well, right now, what do they know? They know that your son is Bob. They know that their name is Jimmy. And they just milk the daylights out of that. Well, why don't you call him? He's at work. He should be at the shop. Now you got that information. And all of those things start to go down. And the second big scam that we are seeing is they call seniors and pretend to be one of their grandchildren. Because they know, of course, you have a heart. You're a decent human being. We have seen people come to us and say, we want to withdraw from our retirement accounts. We go, okay, great. We just send you the forms, or you can come in, or you can do it online. There's 3 or 4 different ways to do it. But sometimes we'll get a little inkling that something is not right. We'll say, wait a second. Why? This is the 3rd time this month. You've never taken out big chunks of money. Are you sure everything's okay? And we might call a daughter or a son, somebody who you've listed as a beneficiary or somebody who you've listed as a co-owner of the account, whatever it might be. We say, is everything okay with mom and dad? Or is everything okay with dad? What is going on there? Because sometimes it makes sense to put your kids, usually I've seen it, usually it's a daughter, your oldest daughter, on as not as a co-owner of your bank account, but an authorized user. What's the difference? Co-owner of the account, which a lot of parents will say, or grandparents will say, it's a good idea to have a co-owner. I want my son, just in case anything happens, they can... No. It also means that if they're going to get a divorce, their spouse owns half of your bank account. We have seen it where there's a home completely paid off, and the son of a gun husband said, soon-to-be ex-husband says, if you don't give me all of my retirement account, I'm going to take half of your parents' home, because the wife is the co-owner of the house. Well, you never put your kids as a co-owner of the house. You never put your kids as the co-owner of a bank account. You can have them as the authorized user of the bank account. You can have them as the beneficiary through a trust in your home, but never have them as a co-owner. There's all sorts of tax and legal stuff, so I want to encourage you to speak with CPAs and attorneys, because I'm not either of those, but as a financial professional, our job is to see often the results of these things and try to navigate through and fix sometimes if we can with the appropriate professional. But the idea is to keep in mind that if the purpose is, I want my daughter or my son to be able to write checks if I'm incapacitated, great, there's mechanisms in place to do that. It's just called an authorized user. That means they don't have ownership of the account. That means they don't pay taxes in the account, so they're not going to get a 1099. It means that they don't have the right to half of that account if they get in a car accident. They forget to pay their car insurance. If they get sued for more than what boom, your bank accounts, your home, it's gone. Time and time again, and these son of a guns will do it.
Well, it's interesting. I receive scam calls on a regular basis.
Wow.
One I received a couple of weeks ago was saying, congratulations, you've just won the sweepstakes.
Oh, my God.
La da 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 da. And what I love to do is string them along. I love to do that.
So they're sending you money, real money.
Yeah, at the end of it.
What they say, our agents will be in the area, and but before they come, we need a down payment. Because we have to process the paperwork, and we need $500 sent through Western Union. And I say, oh, really? Well, I don't have a car and I can't get to Western Union. I said, if I write you a check when you get here, will that be okay?
Yes. No, wait.
Oh, and they give me some song and dance about this, and this, and paperwork here and what have you. I said, well, I'm sorry. I said, I can't get out to send any money to you. So, you either take my check or what am I supposed to do?
Say, I have $100,000 in small non-sequential bills. Maybe you can help do something with it.
but
I get a kick out of doing that because I know immediately it's a scam because I've received so many of them.
And you would think that these people have a conscience, a mother, a grandmother, a wife, somebody in their life that would be disappointed in who they are and what they've become as a human being. And you would think that conscience would eat them alive. Of course it doesn't, because they still do this, but it's just a very sad state of affairs, I guess.
Well, they don't have scruples, and it's kind of like, hate to say it, Wall Street. I mean,
and today,
that's just the nature of how some people are these days. And, the scammers are trying to, for our seniors to know, they're trying to extract out from your nest egg, your retirement, the monies that you have. They're trying to get it any way you can. And as I alluded to, there are clues in the beginning of the phone call to say to you, hey, this is a scam. And, you have to start realizing the different kinds of scams. But, the scammers are great.
Yes,
they come up with a new way.
They are quick.
They are quick in making the change, and they're versatile in getting your money.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting, too, because a lot of the people who call have a slight accent.
Yes.
And I've said, oh, are you calling from India? No, we're calling from such and such, clear across the continent of the United States.
Yes.
And you know immediately that it's a bunch of garbage.
You're like, wait a second, I have a cousin who's in that town. What's your address? I'll have him swing by and say hi.
But can you ask them, like when the phone call comes in and you're kind of suspicious, but you don't know for sure, can you say, what is your name? What is your phone number?
Yeah, they all have fake names, fake phone
numbers.
Oh,
and so they can give that to you, but you can start getting, and the whole, can I call you back?
Yes.
And see if they accept that. If they're saying no, then you're done.
Yes.
Just hang up.
And keep in mind that you can have an area code that is of all sorts of locations. The one you gave me, the 207, is from Maine. I just looked it up. So I can go to the Verizon or AT&T, T-Mobile store. I can go right now to Sprint and say, give me an area code for Dallas, Texas, Seattle, Washington.
And you live here, let's say you live here in
Yes.
Santa Clarita, you can ask for a Dallas, Texas, or a Maine phone number.
Absolutely. And
So that's why in caller ID you're seeing these numbers and think, oh, okay, that's
truly, they're
legitimate.
completely irrelevant. Especially now today, many phones can have 2 and 3 phone numbers ring to the same phone. So you can have, if you have an office in San Francisco and an office in Los Angeles, there's legitimate business reasons to do it. And you want a local number for people in San Francisco and a local number for your customers in Los Angeles, both of those can ring to the same cell phone. And it tells you, of course, where the caller's calling from. And you pay for it. It's not a lot of money, but you can pay for that. And there are ideas out there of keeping things very simple, and that's what they do, because they know that seniors mostly are not thinking like a thief. They're not thinking crooked.
True.
They think people are generally honest people, and they think,
well, they're innocent, but that's the idea of having the senior hour.
That's
and
right.
having you on, Arif, is to let our seniors know that there are scammers out there that are going to just take advantage of that innocence.
Let me give you one more here that I think I'm starting to see a bit more happen now. We're in the financial world. Our job is to handle your retirement account, keep it safe, protect the principal, grow it, with reasonable rates of return, and stay away from the risks of the market. We also will have people say, well, my other big asset in my life is my home. So it makes a lot of sense, right? That's where they plan on living. They've done a lot of work over the years to keep it accessible, maybe widening hallways or doorways, or putting in ramps and making the steps.
Upgrading.
Right, everything a bit more comfortable. Sometimes those things we have to do that twice in our retirement life, right?
Oh,
Maybe
yes.
60, 65, 70 years old, or maybe 80, 85, 90 years old.
Yeah,
So you might
seniorize it.
Yeah, that's right. You might do that a couple of times. And what that means is that sometimes the contractors that come over will be quite sneaky and creative in getting your money without doing the work.
Yikes.
And seniors are very scared and concerned about that, because they are starting to see dollars go out, and they are fixed income dollars, and the work is not done. Or worse, it's botched, and it's going to cost even more money to fix.
That just shouldn't happen, because contractors, you need to get a referral.
So let me give you 2 things. That's number 1. You're right on, Dr. Dorio. Referral. What can you give me 3 or 4 other people that you've worked for? Oh, yeah, Joe, Mary, Steve. Okay, great. What are their addresses? I'd like to go by and see them. Now, listen, Joe, Mary, Steve have given him or her an authorization. Hey, listen, you've done a great job. I want you to be able to go out. Tell people about it. Okay, great. Thank you. Go by and take a look at the work. Maybe even talk to them, interview them. Show up with cookies and say, hi, and I just want to see that room addition that contractor Susie put in, and did she do a good job? Can I see it? Great. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2. When you receive their contractor number, right, you're going to have an actual construction general contractor number. You go online and check. And if the person says their name is Joe Smith and you look on the contractor number and it's Brian Johnson, you say, wait a second, these are two different people.
Yeah.
And you ask him about it. And he'll say, well, I work under the boss, the manager. Not acceptable. I need to speak to the gentleman or the lady that's on that contractor's license. And when you pull up the contractor's license, research it a little bit. How many complaints? And look,
there's a better board of
it's like a Better Business Bureau.
Better Business Bureau. That's it.
But it's strictly for the general contractor's licenses
Oh.
through the state.
Well, Russ and I were very fortunate because when we had things that we wanted done to the house, I was able to call on my son's friends.
Perfect.
Because they were all at one time or another in construction.
Oh, that
Nice.
Scott worked in it for years.
Yes.
And one of his friends who lives up the street does drywall and that kind of stuff. And then another one who lives up in Palmdale is a roofer.
Nice.
So we knew that we wouldn't get ripped off.
That's right.
Because they were friends of my son, and I've known them since they were,
Yes.
knee high practically.
Best referral in the world is somebody that you know and have a history with, and have a frank conversation with them. I'll give you an example. We're having a little, extra little side driveway put in at our house right now, and and it's a friend doing it. And I said, listen, I appreciate you wanting to give me the a great deal, and I would welcome it. But I don't want a deal that's going to make it so that you don't make a little bit of or a lot of money, but enough, but so that it can't get done properly. Right? We've experienced that before, where the building wasn't done properly, and we were trying to get it. The contractor was a friend, and we ended up having to get out of pocket more money, and then it's problems on top of problems. No, thank you. I understand you have to make a living. You're taking time from your family, so have a conversation with the contractor and say, listen, I expect this to be done properly, and I'd like a special deal on it, but I don't want a special deal that's going to ruin the project and the quality.
Right.
Or
So-
the relationship.
Yeah, contractor, work at home, get referrals, take a look at the work, and check with the Better Business Bureau and the State Contractors Board, and do some references.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very pleased when those kids came down, and I knew I could trust them.
That's right.
And it makes a big difference. It really does.
It helps a lot when you're trying to be careful with the rules and the laws. Don't feel tempted to avoid. Look, Santa Clarita is. They say they're one of the best, for business. My relationship and experiences with the city of Santa Clarita in building department is it's probably one of the worst in the states. I don't know anybody who has built a business here, construction-wise, or done an addition, who says they would ever do it again, which is a very sad testimony.
Very sad.
Yes.
Wow.
So I don't know why. I don't know why the building department is in ruins, if you will. But all that aside, do not cheapen on the permits. Don't say, well, if you want it permitted, it's going to cost you $600 more. Pay the $600.
Absolutely.
Have the inspector come out. Have them take a look at it. As I said, it is one of the worst experiences of my professional life was dealing with the city building folks. But you need to have a second set of eyes, make sure the contractor's doing the right thing, and have that addition, the electrical work, whatever it is, permitted and done correctly.
Well, it's interesting because we had our 2-car garage made into a model room for Russ's airplanes and buildings, and we
Yeah.
had a single-car garage built onto that, which holds 2 cars,
Oh, yeah,
one
long.
behind the other.
Sure.
But it doesn't look like that. It looks like it's a 1-car garage.
Okay.
And it was not permitted.
Uh-huh.
At the time we had that done, it was in the early 80s, and we didn't realize we had to have it permitted.
Sure.
And then your
And
contractor didn't tell you.
He didn't say anything.
Wow.
So we had it,
Had to go backwards and fix
And
it.
a couple of years ago, someone reported,
Oh,
one of the neighbors or somebody reported.
Dr. Dorio.
Yeah. And the building inspector, I don't remember his name, this was 2 or 3 years ago, longer ago, but he came out, called and came out, and he went in there and he looked around, and he said, oh, okay, well, we'll just write it off.
Yeah.
As long as no one's living in there,
Yes, less of an issue.
that that really isn't an issue.
Yes.
Because
Good.
you're using it for,
A car, yeah.
modeling
But
room.
you were lucky, though.
Oh, yes.
Because if they had said to you, "We're not permitting this," it could have. You have to either tear it down or rebuild or do something to get
Right.
it back into up to spec.
And a lot of challenges when Santa Clarita was with the county and then with the city. They were trying to find building plans and permits and were things originally permitted prior to it becoming a
Oh,
city.
yeah.
So there were some issues when we had one of our projects, the same idea.
Yeah, that was as a result of what happened.
Yes, exactly.
That really was. But so far, everything's fine.
Well, it's great work.
Yes.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. This
Thank
is a
you,
great
Arif.
opportunity.
Yeah, but it's great because you fulfill our need in this community for our seniors to know about the scams that are going on and to make sure that light is on when they, get that phone call.
Oh, yes.
Thanks so
And
much.
So glad you were here to join us. We missed you
My
last
pleasure.
month.
I know. I'll be back again. I'll try to be here every month.
Okay, terrific.
Great, Arif.
Great to see you.
Thanks.
I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.